emerged is the spiking of drinks. This is where someone secretly adds drugs or other harmful substances to another person's drink without their knowledge, leading to a range of dangerous outcomes. At these parties, where the drinks flow freely and guests are often distracted by the spectacle around them, it's easy for someone to tamper with a drink unnoticed. The effects of these spiked drinks can be devastating, ranging from memory loss and confusion to unconsciousness and worse. For many victims, the night becomes a blur, with little to no recollection of what happened to them. Unfortunately, in such private settings, the chances of someone taking advantage of these situations are frighteningly high. One of the most shocking cases involving the spiking of drinks at a billionaire's party is linked to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. Known for his connections to the rich and powerful, Epstein often hosted lavish parties at his various properties, inviting some of the world's elite. But behind the glitz and glamour, dark activities were taking place. Several individuals who attended these parties later reported that their drinks had been spiked, leading them to become disoriented and vulnerable to exploitation. For example, one woman recounted how she attended a party at Epstein's private island. She described how, after just one drink, she began to feel strangely dizzy and confused. The next thing she knew, she woke up in a room she didn't recognize, with no memory of how she got there or what had happened. Her experience is not an isolated case, as more and more stories of drink spiking have come to light, highlighting the dangers that lurk in these seemingly glamorous settings. According to reports, Nicholas would secretly lace guests' beverages with illegal drugs, turning his lavish gatherings into a risky and unpredictable environment. The revelations about his actions began to emerge as his behavior grew increasingly erratic, drawing the attention of both the media and law enforcement. Once his habit of spiking drinks was exposed, Nicholas became even more brazen in his drug use. Rather than retreating from the public eye or curbing his behavior, he openly embraced his illicit activities. At his parties, he not only indulged in drugs himself, but also began handing them out freely to guests. He even asked his party planners to stock his mansion with coke, ecstasy, and meth. The consequences of drink spiking are severe. Victims often struggle with trauma, anxiety, and the fear of retaliation if they speak out. You have to be very careful while attending these types of parties. Isolated locations. Imagine a sprawling villa perched on a cliffside, overlooking a vast, untouched coastline. This place is so secluded that even the nearest town is hours away by helicopter. The guests arrive under the cover of night, whisked in by private jets and luxury yachts, leaving behind the world as we know it. Here, in this isolated paradise, the rules of society seem to vanish. No one outside can see what goes on, and those inside are bound by a strict code of silence. One billionaire who exemplifies this use of remote locations is Richard Branson. The founder of the Virgin Group owns Necker Island, a private island in the British Virgin Islands. This island is so secluded that it's often used for exclusive events and retreats, away from the eyes of the public. On Necker Island, Branson hosts parties and gatherings where guests can enjoy ultimate privacy and do all the crazy stuff they fantasize about, shielding them from the scrutiny of the outside world. These gatherings are designed to be more than just extravagant parties. They're an escape from reality, a place where the rich can let their guard down completely. With this freedom comes a darker side. Adam Newman, Henry Nicholas, and Silvio Berlusconi each also used isolated locations to indulge in their wild and often illegal party activities. Newman, the co-founder of WeWork, turned private jets into airborne party zones, where he and his entourage indulged in drugs and debauchery, far above the prying eyes of the public. Similarly, Henry Nicholas, co-founder of Broadcom, used private airplanes as secluded spaces for his notorious parties, where drug use and erratic behavior were rampant, away from the scrutiny of the ground below. Apart from being 3,000 feet in the air, they hired contractors to build a warehouse that had hidden doors, tunnels, and an underground passageway. In contrast, Silvio Berlusconi, the controversial former Italian prime minister, preferred the privacy of his special mansion, Villa Certosa, for his infamous bunga bunga parties. This secluded estate allowed Berlusconi to host extravagant and often illegal gatherings, shielded from public view. These locations, airplanes in the skies and a secluded mansion, became their havens for excess. The secrecy of these locations allows them to hide their actions, no matter how questionable or dangerous they might be. Why go to such extremes? For these billionaires, it's not just about privacy, it's about control. By hosting their parties in isolated spots, they ensure that nothing leaks out. The outside world only sees the glamorous side of their lives, while the darker, hidden truths remain locked away. These remote locations act as a fortress, protecting their reputations and allowing them to live out their fantasies without consequence. Bribes and payoffs. To ensure the secrecy of their illicit activities, figures like Adam Neumann, Henry Nicholas, Silvio Berlusconi, and other billionaires often resorted to bribing their guests. Because if the information about what's going on at their party leaks, their reputation would be tarnished. These bribes came in various forms, from lavish gifts to direct financial incentives, all designed to buy silence and protect their reputations. Adam Neumann, known for his wild private jet parties, reportedly lavished guests with expensive perks, luxury accommodations, exclusive experiences, and even company shares, making it clear that discretion was expected in return. The understanding was simple: enjoy the opulence, but say nothing about what happened on board. Henry Nicholas, whose parties often involved drug use and other illegal activities, took a similar approach. Guests who attended his events could expect to be treated to extravagant entertainment and indulgences. In exchange, they were subtly encouraged to keep their experiences under wraps, with the implication that future invitations and rewards depended on their silence. In 2002, Nicholas gave one of his employees $1 million just to keep quiet. Silvio Berlusconi, infamous for his bunga bunga parties, often used his immense wealth and political power to ensure that guests remained tight-lipped. He reportedly offered guests large sums of money, gifts, and even political favors to secure their loyalty and keep the details of his scandalous gatherings from reaching the public. It was gathered that he gave out a whopping $11 million just to keep people from saying all the things that happened at his party. Well, for a man worth $6 billion, $11 million is like a drop of water in an ocean. Excessive display of wealth. The display of wealth at high-profile parties often reaches levels that many might find excessive or ostentatious. For billionaires, this can manifest in extravagant decorations, exorbitant expenditures, and other forms of ostentation that can appear almost as a form of competition among the ultra-wealthy. Such displays are not only a statement of status, but also serve as a form of social signaling, intended to showcase one's financial prowess and exclusivity. The Met Gala, an annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, is infamous for its extravagant displays. While not exclusively a billionaire's party, it attracts a high concentration of wealthy individuals and celebrities. In 2015, the gala's theme, China Through the Looking Glass, led to some of the most lavish and controversial displays. Attendees included billionaires like Alibaba founder Jack Ma, who, along with other guests, showcased outfits that incorporated elements of traditional Chinese culture, but were criticized for being culturally insensitive and excessively opulent. The event's grandeur, from haute couture outfits to extravagant decorations, underscores how billionaires use such platforms to project their wealth and taste. In 2021, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and a notable figure in the space tourism industry, celebrated the launch of his space venture, Blue Origin, with a private party that highlighted his wealth. The event featured a lavish venue and high-profile guests, including celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio and Elon Musk.